What up, Shadowhunters fans? It's time to talk Shadowhunters. Everybody finds out that Clary's alive, wolf and vampire relations aren't going so well, and ships are sailing and sinking. Stick around!
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What up, Shadowhunters fans? Welcome to the Shadowhunters After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I am your host, Yael Tygiel. I kicked Sam out. That's not true. She will be back. She is currently on assignment and couldn't be here. We are so excited to be talking Season 3, Episode 13. Dakota T. Jones is here.
What is up? I'm so excited to talk about this episode. I thought we gained some progress and we kind of recapped a little bit of what happened the last time, but this time we actually got a little bit more into the new storylines and what's going to happen.
Yeah, there was so much happening. I felt like I was losing stuff. I was forgetting stuff.
Yeah.
There are some storylines that I was like, I'm good with not dealing with this.
Right.
And then other ones where I was like, no, let's dive into that. And we will talk about those.
Yes.
Let's jump into the Clace situation. He's happy she's alive.
Mm-hmm.
She's happy she's alive. They're making love.
Yeah, that's true. It was interesting to see how they, for a while there, they were so business minded. And they're like, we got to figure out how to get this rune off. And they didn't have time for any kind of lovey-dovey stuff.
Yeah.
And she even kind of warned him, I don't know if we should type of a thing because it's not just you and I, it's Jonathan too. So I want to know if he felt this lovemaking going on.
Okay. So before we get into the lovemaking, let's talk about this rune for a second.
Yes.
Because Jace, he sees it. He's like, I know this. I've seen this before. And they look at Paradise Lost, and it is a rune that Lucifer and Michael had, and that Michael was able to vanquish Lucifer. So there is a way to separate them. Mm-hmm. That was the best news that we could expect.
Absolutely. I was thinking if this is going to be going on through the entire rest of the series, I was like, I don't know if I could handle it. It's cool for a few episodes. How are we going to get it? How are we going to tear them apart? But I was like, if they run this to the ground at the very end.
That's interesting that you say that, because I definitely was reading a lot of the great comments. We have a lot of great comments in the chat and people in our live chat. I'm so sorry today we cannot pay attention to you. There's only two of us. But there were a lot of great theories that this connection means that either they have to turn Jonathan good, or it turns Clary evil.
Ooh.
So this connection is going to have to do that, so they try to remove it with, I think, was that laser removal, tattoo
laser
removal?
tattoo removal.
Girl, that's not how this works. If anything, try to make a rune that gets rid of it.
Right.
I feel like she, of all people, you know what? That's going to be the solution. I'm predicting it right now.
There you go.
But so somehow they're researching and then trying to take it off. That's what turned them on and got them in the mood.
I know, especially Clary. I mean, she was like, oh, ow, this hurts so bad. And then she falls into his arms. And then
I don't judge if that's what she's into. I just don't, research doesn't get me going.
She likes the pain.
Apparently, we don't judge. But my theory is, right, if Jonathan can feel all the pain, he can feel everything else.
Yeah.
And especially because of the timing of the I miss you carving into her arm, 100% I believe that he felt it.
Which is awful when you think about it, because for one, yes, brother, sister, but we saw the look that he gave her, especially last week whenever she was changing, and he did not have innocent eyes going into that. This incestual thing, I'm not here for it. And, we kind of touched on it with Jace and Clary when we thought they were related. Right. We were over it. We moved on. And here we are again.
I don't know that I feel this situation, the Clace lovemaking, plays into more of that weird incestuous vibe that's happening. I think I'm just gonna predict all day. I think that it's gonna make Jonathan fall in love with Jace.
You think so?
Maybe. I think that'd be so interesting if he can
interesting.
feel how much she loves him, and so he also cares for him now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That would be crazy.
It would be
what
so
a twist.
cool if he can't hurt him anymore, and now both men want to take care of her and protect her.
Then she has double the protection because homegirl needs it.
Does she?
She does. She's always getting herself into trouble. If it weren't for Clary, the Institute would not have half the problems that they have had over the past 3 seasons.
I don't know that that's fair to put all on her.
I love her to death, but it's true.
There are more people who could be blamed. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Jordan and the Praetors. Okay, so Heidi is on the loose. Heidi kills Nick. She seeks asylum at Raphael's clan. Nothing's ever her fault. She didn't mean to kill Nick. It was defense. Here are my notes. Heidi must have been a terrible person as a human. Like, I would not have been friends with this girl.
No.
I'd have been like, you need to grow up and take some responsibility for your life.
Yeah, and she's not doing it all, out of stupidity or in vain. Like, she knows what she's doing. She's an awful person, and she's manipulative. And you see it in her eyes and the way that she talks and how she words things to pit people against each other. Wild stuff. Like, she really knows what she's doing.
Yeah, and you know that when she was human, she was just like this.
Absolutely.
We all know people like that. We don't need them in our lives.
Just not on as a deadly level as now.
Right. She literally starts a war between the vampires and the werewolves, and I don't need her storyline.
You don't?
I don't care.
Really?
I mean, we wrap up Jordan when he says to Simon, like, well, I guess you're all good. I'm leaving. Keep the apartment. I was like, that's how we're just going to, that's it? That's what we're doing?
But we're going to keep Heidi around.
Right. Really?
I know. I was happy to see Jordan Kyle back, though, because we loved him from the last season. And I know his character was kind of controversial with the fans. And I wanted to see more of him and Maya and see what happens between them and how they work through their issues. I don't think they'll end up together at all. But I think that there is going to be some more conversations that might sort some things out for them. There's a lot of unfinished business there, I think. Yeah,
I think he was a very interesting character to throw into this relationship and situation. I really liked him coming in, having to deal with Simon, and then us discovering who he is. And I really liked that drama. It was interesting. The Praetors, I think, is a very interesting concept. I don't care for what we're doing. Kill Heidi. Like, just kill her.
Hashtag kill Heidi. Heidi, I think she's an incredible actress, and the way she portrays the character is incredible.
Yeah, if she could get me to hate her this much,
right,
she's doing great.
Absolutely. And I want to say that I actually think I like her better than some of the other villains we've seen on the show, just because I feel like there is more depth and more, than just surface.
Oh, you see her as a villain?
I really see her as a villain.
I see her as an annoyance.
Well, she started off that way,
right?
But I think especially this episode, we see that she's more than just like a pretty face vampire. Like she's got motives, and I'm not really sure exactly what she wants in the end, but I just know right now she's raising hell and just, I think, playing around with her newfound power.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
Because I definitely am looking at her going, wow, this is a pest.
Yeah.
Just somebody call an exterminator. Yeah. She's just a pest.
Right.
But yeah, she is starting a war.
Really, really is.
So Maya also is dealing with, speaking of werewolves, Luke convinces her she should fight to be the alpha.
Yeah.
Or at least not fight, but turn everyone to make her alpha. She feels young to me.
She is very young. Very young, especially considering there's a lot of, middle-aged, upper-age people in the pack.
It's a bunch of old dudes.
It's a bunch of old dudes. But I really do think, when you think about life, men can tend to be very hot-headed and very just like, oh, power.
Sure. Especially werewolf men.
Absolutely. And we see that the alpha is just nothing but sheer just like anger and power and just wanting to hold that. And I think with her, she is young, but she's so knowledgeable and so level-headed that I think it really is going to set their pack apart from others, and I think it really is going to lead them in a positive direction overall.
I'd follow her. I think she'd be a great alpha. I think that it's definitely risky to have her try to convince this group that she should take over from this guy. And I think that he was right in that there's a vampire killing people, killing specifically werewolves. I think it's the right thing to tell your pack there's a curfew. I think there's also compromise, and her being like, I'll take care of him and I'll watch him with the younger dude. Like, there's way to do that. Don't do it in front of the whole pack.
Yeah.
I think Maya stepped in it wrong at that moment. And I think that the alpha also was wrong. They were both wrong.
Yeah. Seeing last week's preview for this week, I was thinking, oh, wow, there's going to be this big showdown between Maya and the alpha.
Right.
What did you think of how that turned out?
I think it felt like a plot device. I think it felt disappointing. It was like a letdown.
Really?
I thought we were going to have not necessarily a fight, but, her convincing everyone that they should follow her, but instead he gets murdered. So
right.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. It was quick. I liked it a little bit just because I know we're trying to wrap up the show.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. next. We can figure out what's going to happen. She can lead the pack, and we're on to the next storyline.
I would have liked it if we had had this moment where he was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. You are more level-headed. You understand the needs of them more. I've let the power get to my head, whatever. Or everyone being like, we're done following you. You know what I mean? Like, I would have liked something. I would have liked a dialogue.
Yeah.
Instead, he got murdered by a vampire.
I definitely don't think he would have ever like given up his power or like came to his senses. But she could have easily turned to everyone else, and then they would have had to like kind of go head to head, and then he would probably end up dead somehow. But I wasn't expecting what happened to happen, which I sometimes see things happening, and I'm like, oh, okay, like I can see this gonna happen. But because that was just so sudden, I was like, oh shoot, I wasn't expecting that. I almost kind of like the shock value for once. Usually, I'm more on your side on that.
Yeah. Before we talk about Maya's sinking ship, we want to take a moment to thank our fans.
Yes.
Thank you so much to everyone who is here. I know there are people in the live chat. We really appreciate you being here. Take it away, Dakota.
We love you guys, and we just wanted to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. But for us to continue to grow, we could use your help. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. Regardless, no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. We cannot do it without you. So don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our after shows, Shadow Squad.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I popped into the chat real quick to give some shout outs. December, The Vampire Squad, Florina, Billie Jean Girl, Michael B. I said December. There was someone else, and I lost
We
it.
have a lot of repeating customers.
Mary, thank you all so much for being in our live chat.
Thank you, guys.
Let's discuss this ship. The ship that has sunk.
Ugh.
I mean, it really feels like they both hopped into rowboats and just like swam away.
Yeah.
But Simon and Maya are over, which is funny because I think I said last week that like, no, they seem solid.
Yeah, you're like, we got this. They're good.
And they were like, nah, we're both calling quits. And they were like, yeah, let's do that.
I know. Did you think Maya was a little bit like, I mean, she was happy that he understood, but she was shocked that he was just like, you know what, you're right. Do you think she was like, you're not even going to fight for me?
I think she was a little upset in that he was like, yeah, it feels like we're drifting apart and we're into other things. If I were, I'd be like, into other things? Are you into someone else?
Right.
What are you saying?
Absolutely.
Because that's where I think they were trying to gear us that he has feelings for someone else. And I'm sure the Sizzy fans are losing their mind.
Ooh, yes.
Because I think that's where we're headed.
That is where we're headed for sure. And I've waited for that for, 2.5 seasons.
I was all about it before. And now I'm not, so they have to really win me back.
Is it just because it's been so long and you think that if it would have happened, it would have, and you're just kind of over it?
No, it's that it looked like they were building towards it, and then they gave us Maya, and that was solid. She was good for him. She was good to him. And when she first came in, I was very upset that he was dating another girl that had slept with Jace. Mm-hmm. So, like, the fact that didn't seem to be an issue... they really built their relationships to be solid, and it is. I mean, they're so solid that they break up so amicably.
Right,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, Jace and Simon has been both with Clary and both with Maya.
Yeah, they have.
It's a very small town, you guys.
New York.
Yeah.
Manhattan.
The Institute is very small, and then they're outside little groups that they go to.
Yeah. So we end the episode with Maya and an injured Jordan in the freezer. What did you think he was going to die this episode?
I thought he was going to die. I thought that was going to be it. I thought that whenever he got stabbed and kind of sacrificed himself for Maya, that was going to be his ending, and we were just going to like mourn the loss. Mm-hmm. And then the next episode they were going to move on. I was really sad, but gearing up for next week and seeing the preview, it seems like there's going to be more scenes with them, and I hope that he doesn't die. But if he does, I feel like they're going to get some kind of closure together.
Sure.
And then he's going to die.
Yeah, I like that we're giving his life meaning, especially after the way he like bounced on Simon, where he was like, "I need you. Oh, you don't have the Marquis? I don't need you. Bye. And also, you're good. I'm out."
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad we're giving him some more meaning.
Yeah.
Other ships, I want to talk about Luke and Maryse.
Loved it.
They're so cute.
They are.
I love that he's everyone's papa. He's just Papa Bear. You need him. And Maryse comes to help open a safe, and then they kiss.
It was a good kiss.
It was great.
Whenever she, like, when they first kind of pulled back and then they went again, I was like, oh, reprise.
I'm all about it.
I was hoping that it lasted longer, and I was hoping some other, like, stuff would have happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, I get that they're there on business. A lot's at stake. Maryse is getting out of her relationship with her long-term husband that had happened. Yeah. So they're having a rough time getting it started, but his smile at the end when she left said it all.
Yeah.
It was cute.
I'm all about this relationship. I want it. It really, I mean, look at this family. Like, the group is a weird family, right? Jace is part of Maryse's family. Clary's part of Luke's family, although not by any blood. And now Luke and Maryse are going to get together.
I told you, this institute is small.
It's real small. And we are worried about incest on the show.
I know.
Silly.
Screw it. Literally.
Yep. All right, let's talk about Izzy.
Yes.
Because Sizzy seems to be happy. She wakes up at Simon's.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
I know. I really appreciate that he's not just taking it for granted that she saved him. He gets the issue that she has been addicted and that this is not easy and this is kind of putting her back to square one, and he really does seem to care about her. She's trying to play it tough like she usually does, like, oh, I'm good, you know, trying to make it not about her.
Yeah.
But I was saddened that, like, you know, now Simon traded one problem for another.
I think I agree with you on that. I also feel like Simon had to deal with his mother's addiction and had helped Izzy. And I know that addiction is not something you ever stop having. I know that it's a constant problem. I appreciate that they're bringing it back in a way that's reasonable and meaningful and plot worthy, rather than a lot of shows just bring it back because they need to add drama. Again, I'm talking about a TV show and not people with real addiction.
Right.
But I do like that we're dealing with, right, her addiction, and you know, Alec talks about AA and what he's learned from researching it, and it's they're talking about magic. She's addicted to vampire blood. Like, this is a magical thing, but we're really talking about real issues.
Yeah.
In a vampire world.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it so much.
It was really great. I loved that.
Yeah.
I think that with Izzy, we already saw the whole Yin Finn issue happen. So I'm hoping that, because we don't have very many episodes left, like I always usually say, I hope that we can somehow figure out, not a cure, because like you said, it's always around, but something to help her with her cravings, because she's such a strong character. I don't want to see her constantly weak, because she is going to stand back up and she is going to be amazing.
Yeah, and she points out, you know, this is the thing I have to carry with me for the rest of my life.
And I love how they actually acknowledge that, because a lot of shows it's almost like, oh, I'm over my addiction. Cool.
Right.
You know?
I really, really appreciate that. And I did appreciate Alec being like, I looked into those mundane groups and I was like, what is he he like did research on 12 steps in AA and stuff. Cool. He used Google. Great. So I really like that we're tying this all together. And Izzy's issue, and that she, you know, he reminds her she's not alone, that the whole family is there to support her. So I like where we're going with that. And also we're dealing with, she gets a note from Greenlaw, who can tell her what's going on at the guard. And then he's murdered. And we find out when they talk to Maryse that it was someone, you know, from the Shadowhunter world. This is the storyline I want to follow. Screw Heidi. I want this. All about the conspiracy theories and the political drama. Let's do that.
This is deeper than just surface drama or like, oh, who's killing who. This is like something we've not really touched on before.
Right. They like barely, they're like, bad things are happening. Our institution might be corrupt. We'll deal with it later. No, let's deal with that
now.
Somebody just cut off Heidi's head and let's move on with this storyline.
I like that. Yeah, I totally agree. Just drive that stake right into her heart and let's move on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is the storyline I care about. And we got like 2 sentences.
I know. I really want to see more of the experiments and like what's going on, because you know we saw a clip where, you know, this guy's being pinned to a chair and being injected from, I think, a few episodes ago, and it's just time we learn out what's going on.
It feels like if you work for an institution that is corrupt, you would want to do more investigating into that. And I get that, like, there's a vampire killing werewolf, so we got to deal with it.
And they got to find Clary.
Right.
Yeah.
She's alive. Like, I know that they have to deal with other things, but I just want to know what's happening.
I know. You're like, can we get a special like FBI like unit to like go over here for a sec?
Where's SVU?
Yeah, right. Oh, that scared me so bad. I just like, holy cow. All right.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
We're good.
We're dying over here. Any other thoughts on this episode before we talk about very important things?
Overall, loved it. Can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, I agree. Let's take a little trip because we have a surprise, kind of?
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
So one of our AfterBuzz TV interns was so nice enough to let us know that they actually read the books. So we were asking them, digging in, asking them, okay, well, what's going on? What's different from the books than the show? Which, you know, Sam and I always say we like to remain impartial and just kind of watch the show and see what happens.
Right.
So I have like a few little points, which I know a lot of the book readers will already know, but for those of you who are like me and Sam and just watch the show, these are some of the differences if you want to check these out. So Yin Fin, this person who was originally a Shadowhunter, he was addicted to Yin Fin, but then the Silent Brothers like halted his dying process and turned him into a Silent Brother. And that was like an interesting fact because otherwise Yin Fin, you can't recover from it. Usually you just end up dying from it eventually.
Right.
So that was something where Izzy apparently never was on Yin Fin in the books, allegedly, and she never had a thing with Raphael as well. So all of that was created for the show.
Interesting.
So I thought that was kind of good knowledge to know.
Absolutely, especially this episode where Heidi goes back and is like, where's Raphael? I need help. And they're like, nah, his Shadowhunter girlfriend kicked him out. Yeah. Like, oh, that's not part of the book.
Yeah.
I assume also Heidi, this pest, is not part of the book.
Right, exactly.
I'm hoping not.
Right. And then in the book, City of Glass, Clary was the one to give the Mark of Cain to Simon during the time when Raphael and his vampire clan were hunting him down. So that was her way of like helping protect him.
She gave him the mark.
That's what our intern's saying. And then also we all know Clary and Simon never dated in the books.
Which was a mistake of the books. It was their bad. The Mark of Cain thing is very interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think that's such a fun part of the story. I mean, we were talking about last week. I really like this idea that we're taking it biblical and like the Seeleys have been around since biblical times. So
yeah.
Interesting.
Do you think we'll see Cain again in the show, or do you think that was a one-off?
No, I think that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I really like that he brought him back this episode. He was like, weird dude. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, weird dude.
I liked him.
Very edgy.
Yeah. Let's take it to our segment that we do here, Stunt of the Week.
Yes.
Or as I'm calling it, Stunt o' the Week. That's right. St. Patrick's Day is coming. Thank you. Thank you. I'm hilarious. So what was should I go first? Or
go for it, okay. Yeah.
So my badass stunt of the week is going to, as much as I hate her, when Heidi jumps through the fan.
Oh, yes.
That I was like, ooh, cool.
That was cool.
I really liked that one.
Because she looks over and she just like knows I have this much timing to go through.
Because she's a vampire.
Loved that.
Yep.
That was probably the most impressive stunt of the week. One that I wasn't expecting was after Clary and Jace have their Clace lovemaking session. She looks down at her arm, she feels pain, and Jonathan's communicating with her through like piercing her skin and like writing "I miss you." The creepiest thing ever. And the way that they did that and her horror, like looking down at her arm, was just chilling.
I really love that moment. I was thinking about when they had the connection when we first established it. I was like, they can talk to each other. So I really liked that. But also, this is my big question. Is Jonathan left-handed? Because he was carving into her right arm.
Ooh.
I say this as a lefty.
I'm a lefty too.
So like it makes sense that's because if I'm a lefty, I wouldn't do it the other way.
Oh, right.
I think he's left-handed.
That's crazy. Wait. Because she's laying on the bed, though.
She's laying on the bed. It's into her right arm.
It is?
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's the first thing I noticed.
Oh, my gosh. Interesting. I wonder if they'll even touch on that.
Probably not.
Probably not. Just us lefties will know.
All the lefties are like, what? He's left-handed. He's one of us.
Yeah. Which is maybe not the person we want as one of us, but you know.
You never know. All right. Let's head into some news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so this is tangentially related. Freeform, the network that has given up on us. I mean, the network that was where we live. Freeform has a new witch-themed drama that is going to be coming out. It was ordered with 10 episodes. It is called Motherland Fort Salem. and it's a witch drama about these. It's set in an alternate America where witches ended their persecution 300 years ago by cutting a deal with the U.S. government to fight for their country. It follows 3 young women from basic training in combat magic to into early deployment. In this world, the traditional roles of gender and power are flipped, and the more dominant women are on the front lines fighting looming terrorist threats that are familiar to our world, but with supernatural tactics and weapons.
That sounds so interesting. There's nothing on Freeform quite like that.
No.
And did I see Ashley Benson is in it? In the picture?
No,
there?
that's not Ashley Benson.
Oh, it looks so much like her from this angle. I was so excited.
No,
I love Ashley. I miss her.
But yeah, so that's a new show that's coming. Not that not that I'm saying anything, but it's a new show on Freeform that I feel like if you like magic and witchcrafty, it might be something you'd be interested
Absolutely. And Freeform's other show, Good Trouble, I do the after show right after at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have Ken Kirby, who plays Ben on the show, kind of like a person who throws a wrench in on all the situations. And do we trust him? Do we not? He's going to be in the studio, and we're going to ask him questions and see if we can figure out his motives.
Awesome. Let's head into predictions then.
And now,
that's my prediction sound now. I don't know what that is. Sorry, guys. Sam will be back next week. I'm sorry. I'm really messing it up over here. So here's what's in the promo for next week. Magnus wants to get his magic back, but it's dangerous. Alec is suspicious of Magnus. He says, I feel like there's something you're not telling me. Maya is freaking out and Jordan might die. Clace goes ice skating, and then Clary says to Jonathan, playing Jace's virginal little girl again, got old real fast. Or got real old real fast. I miss our life together. That's what's in the promo. Any predictions based on that or anything else?
Based on that, I kind of said it earlier, but I do feel like if it is time for Jordan Kyle to die, I feel like like I said, they're going to get closure. Mm-hmm. They're going to have some like great closure there with all the frozen food around.
Right.
And then that's going to be the end because he's not able to get any help. They're not able to
get they can't leave.
Yeah. So I feel like that might happen as much as I hate to say it. And other than that, I think Clary, she said she misses Jonathan. Is that what she said?
She says, I missed our life together.
I just, that seems like she's being manipulative again. She's not serious. And I don't think Jonathan, if he is smart, he shouldn't let her get to him again because she does that every time and then runs away.
Right. I'm with you on that. I 100% believe that Clary's saying to Jonathan that playing Jace's virgin little girl again got real old real fast. I miss our life together. I 100% believe that they figured out a way for them to separate them.
Yes.
And so she has to be close to him to do it or something.
That is very smart.
Because it does not make sense to me that they're finally together. Things are finally good with them. And she's like, nah, I'm over it. Because if that is the case, then this is not a relationship that they should be fighting for. This is not like, then they're not endgame. We're done with that and we're moving on. Because if this is a genuine feeling, then I'm out. I'm out on the Clace.
I mean, I'm kind of already out on the Clace.
How dare you?
I'm not as into it as I once was. Ever since Clary and Simon got involved, I really thought the chemistry there was like on fire. And then after that, I've just been kind of like, I don't really know. I don't know how I feel.
Do you think that's where the show's trying to end up?
Yeah.
Is Simon and Clary?
No. I think it's going to end with Clace, but I'm just not necessarily thrilled about that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Alec being suspicious of Magnus, I feel like there's something you're not telling me. I assume it's something either before Magnus starts training or something else, because if Magnus starts learning to get trying to get his magic back, and then Alec is like, I don't, something's going on, I don't know what's going on, then what's happening in this relationship is also solid. I don't want more of this lies and secrets.
No deception. Yeah.
It's
being
like
upfront.
they don't understand how relationships work on the show.
Well, I do think that Magnus is trying to protect Alec because he knows that it's dangerous to get his magic back, but he really wants it back because he wants to be able to live forever.
I mean, also not use a computer because he was real struggling this episode.
Yeah.
He wants to portal to France. Like, I get it. I also would like magic back, but I think that, I mean, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't like the idea that Alec is suspicious and that Magnus is trying to get magic back and not telling him.
Yeah.
I think that the smart move is Magnus to be like, I'm doing this, and Alec to support him.
And I would love for your support.
Right.
Yeah.
So there has to be something else that he feels like he's not telling him.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that. I don't know what it is yet, so I'm okay with it.
Like, I'm good with it. Next week, you're going to come on and be like, how dare you?
Right. Yup, that sounds like me. That sounds just like me. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I just want to see what the deception is between Malik, and then also I just want Jordan to live. Is it too much to ask?
Yes.
That's it.
That's too much to ask.
That's too much.
I would like Heidi to die.
Yeah. I love how like our like hopes are like, you know, I hope this person dies and this person dies. Like, who are we?
We're not great people. We're shadow hunters.
Right.
I don't know what that means. Thank you all so much for joining us. Until next week, where can everyone keep up with you and what other after shows you on? Plus, you have a guest.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones. I have a music video dropping tomorrow, and we are doing AfterBuzz TV's After Show for Good Trouble at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you check it out with Ken Kirby.
Awesome. I don't have a music video dropping tomorrow. I was in a music video.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I can send you links to that if you find me on Twitter and Instagram everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. You can follow Sam Davidson at SamD43, and she will be back to do this better next week. Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.